All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing you some honest astrology about this new moon in Gemini that we had. And it was last night at around 11 p.m. on the 14th of June 2026. Today is Monday the 15th. I didn't get a chance to put this out last night. Yesterday over the weekend was a bit busy. So here we are. Let's talk about this Gemini new moon. New moons, new beginnings. So they say we have the sun, our point of illumination, and the moon, what reflects that illumination back to us. The sun would be our sense of self, the operating system within this vessel, our solar plexus, our light that shines out, our willpower. The moon would be a reflection of our emotions. Our emotions go into hiding at times. Times of a new moon, we cannot see the light of the moon, the light that the moon is reflecting of the sun. So we have hidden emotions. And then Gemini, what is Gemini all about? Gemini is about communication information, but it's about personal information, my information. And then the ruling planet of Gemini would be Mercury, which right now is in Cancer, which is the ruling planet of the moon. And the sun is the ruling planet of Leo, which we have Venus in. Let me show you the chart so that makes sense. So Leo rules the sun. The moon is ruled by Cancer here, which we have Mercury and Jupiter. Jupiter is over here across the way in Sagittarius. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, and where the south node is Virgo. About information. This is all about information. This is about your personal information. Sometimes we can't see outside of ourselves. We can't see outside of our personal information. Now, there's a lot of happenings going on, as you can see the chart, but to the sun moon, we have an opposition to Black Moon Lilith. And it's buried here, but there's this little blue line, dash, 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 over here to Chiron in Aries at 29 degrees. The anerotic, very loud at this point. Chiron at 29 degrees of Aries. How do we heal ourselves? And how are we showing up? Right, everything has two sides. There's always two sides of a coin. So this is one, are we taking care of ourselves and healing? Right, this is information offers you what you need so that you can personally heal. And this comes from self. This is a very interesting opportunity, I think, astrologically. We have the whole world around us. We have elders and youngsters. We have older people that say, this is how the world is, son. This is how the world is, daughter. This is how the world is, child. This is how the world is, friend, whatever. And don't reinvent the wheel. This is a square. It's a 90-degree angle. We don't need to reinvent that. We've created better squares as time has moved on. We've created them out of plastic and cheapened them with thinner materials so that they can be purchased for a reasonable price through schools all around the country or all around the globe. We have metal squares that are necessary, right? We have, don't reinvent the wheel, but at the same time, we have constantly reinvented the wheel and better for tread, better for traction, better to spray water out the sides. There's always a certain sense of reinventing. I think the huge takeaway with this new moon is the whole world is going to tell you how the world is. This is what a man is. This is what a woman is. This is what a job is. This is how you survive. This is how you plant food. This is when you harvest food. This is how you play the drum. This is how you play a flute. This is how you watch TV. This is how you make love. This is how you chew food. This is how you walk. This is how you dress. This is how you make music. This is how you play the guitar. This is how, right, we have so much of other people trying to teach us their view of the world. And this life is explorative. This life is experimental. You may have lived thousands and thousands of lifetimes, but this lifetime is this unique opportunity for you to experience this unified consciousness through your eyes, to hear through your ears, to taste through your mouth, to kiss through your lips. You get it. So when we have so much of the outside world trying to teach people, and Chiron is this wounded healer. Personally, what I see is wounded people trying to heal others. I see it all the time. I see people will go to a healing circle, and then the next thing they know, they're the professional, and they're on TikTok and Instagram and all the socials, and they're just preaching how to live and preaching how to heal and preaching what life is and what love is and what romance is and what partnership is. And in order to heal, you can't go out on Friday night or you can't go out on Saturday. You have to sit here and you have to look at your hangnail and look at that until it heals itself, because you can't possibly go out into the world until that hangnail's healed, because it could get infected. It gets silly. It gets silly. I had a sound bath at my place on Wednesday, and I have an array of instruments and singing bowls and flutes and drums and percussion and handpans, and I have a ton of instruments, bass guitar and ukulele and all of these things. And my friend said, "Who taught you how to play all these things?" And I sat there for a second. I said, "Nope, nobody. I just learned. I was interested. I was curious about the instrument, so I learned it. I had some training in like elementary and junior high to high school playing drums, so I learned notation, if you will. But it's the exploration of the instrument. It's the exploration of the air pressure into the flute, or the exploration in how the breath moves to keep the didgeridoo going, you know? It's just being inspired. That's, I think, some of the beauty of this new moon is being inspired, being curious about life, like genuinely being curious. And the curiosity outweighs, I mean, I'm a Capricorn sun and a Virgo rising, so I certainly have those earth sign features of nothing will be good enough, so don't start a project. You know what I mean? Like the things have to be perfect, or I can't expose it to the world. I think a lot of earth signs deal or struggle with that sometimes, where I think sometimes the fire or air people can just like pump out material sometimes, and it's just like, oh my God, that's amazing, right? So we get inspired, and we get inspired to say, get out of my own way, and share the astrology message or whatever it is, without this idea of perfection or this you know, something's going to go. The exploration is showing up for ourselves, this new moon, this new beginning, this new curiosity of life in Gemini. And this idea that when the whole world is trying to tell you how it is and what it is, it's like you have your own eyes, you have your own ears, you have your own mouth to communicate with the outside world, and you have your own brain, and it's like discernment. I got rid of social media for a little while. And social media tells me all the time on what the world is before I walk out my door. And social media will tell me that, again, this is how a man is, and this is how a woman is, and this is how people are, and this is what we're healing and dealing with. And there's 14, what is the new keywords? 14 generations of family trauma that I have to deal with, that I have the burden that my family left to me. It's like, this is, now if we believe this, we're drinking the poison. Now there is a certain amount of fairness if there's information. It's all about information and education. This education brings us to healing. So there's a study with mice. The parents, or these mice, saw a red light, they heard a sound, and they experienced a shock. Terrible. Second generation of mice never saw the red light, never heard the siren. Life goes on. Then, now here comes the grandchildren mice. The parents never experienced the trauma. the grandparent mice did experience the red light, the sound. So when the grandchildren mice came to life and they played the sound and the light, they had the same traumatic response as the grandparents did, shock. And even though the parents themselves did not have any experience with the light, the sound, or the shock itself, it was carried on. So we understand that there is some sort of truth, that there is something that's passed along from the egg that fertilized me was in my grandmother's belly, right? That's a cool thing. So there is some sort of understanding, a personal responsibility to say, oh, well, my grandparents sure went through that, and they heard the light and the siren, and they did experience this shock. And then when I heard the light, or when I heard the sound and the light for the first time, I also kind of clammed up. But then I realized, and this is the key, friends, is this new beginning, new moon, new knowledge and new awareness. I recognized for myself, Chiron in Aries, Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, a lot of Aries energy right now. Well, I realized for myself that the dangers that my grandparents had are no longer there for me. It's just simply a sound and simply a light. And that light and that sound has no effect over me. So therefore I've learned, and now I've healed that because I'm aware that there's no consequence for the light and the sound. It's just simply part of my existence. So there's a personal responsibility for us to heal those aspects to ourselves. We don't have to sit there and again, look at it until it just heals. That's just a waste of time, energy. Like, it's naturally going to heal. It's just important for us to keep naturally doing what we do and to gravitate toward the things that we're curious about, that Gemini stuff that makes us say, oh, how exciting, this thing of life is interesting. We should be interested in life and not shy away from the interested stuff because there's something else going on that needs healing or needs attention in our life. Like the healing always happens, and sometimes when we put ourselves out there, that's what kind of inspires it to continue to heal or propels it for even greater. There's a fair amount, I would say, of individuals that give their power away, but not you, not the viewers that hang out with me, because you're smart, and that's why we talk, and that's why we connect here. There's a lot of people, you might know these people, you might see these people that say, oh, the world outside is this, and the government is this, and they're trying to do this. And if this is an idea that you have in your mind, that all of these entities, I think we give too much credit to the outside and unknown. I think there's a lot of people here, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals, a lot of groups have no freaking clue. And they're just day by day trying to figure it out just like you and I are. And this big agenda that's going on, it's like this, all of these big things that we seem to have, some of these big conspiracy theories, or the world is out to get us, or the world is trying to do this. It's like, this is just an idea. It's an idea, and you can either play by it or you don't have to play by it. And it's just like the world is your oyster to shuck it, crack it open, and enjoy it in a sense. It's just like, this is a giant playground for all of us to manifest, to have fun, to live. There's certainly painful aspects of it. Is like, one of the only things here is just like, you have to work, right? You can't just go live in the woods. The societies that we've created around the globe, you have to work. You can't just kind of be a nomad and live off of the land anymore. That's kind of one stipulation. If you find a pocket, a little nature or land in your life, and you find yourself to be self-sufficient, kudos to you. That's amazing. If you can do that, you can do that. But it's like this idea that the world is trying to do something to you, or trying to make you be a certain thing, or trying to, it's like, it's not. And it's like, we have the opportunity for this new moon, this revelation. And we have Uranus there, of course, as well. Let's come back here. Uranus and Gemini, this great awakening, the great revelation. Uranus moving through our mental. This is our mind. This is our personal mindset, how we view the world. So again, if we view the world like we're the victim, then we'll always be the victim. And we're never going to step into our power, never going to step into the abilities that we have to be a co-creator of this experience, instead of just playing this victim mentality. And we have a lot right now going for us. So it's like our emotions can fuel us. Now, our emotions, if something's scary, we can run away from it. If something is scary, someone who's got courage, we're going to come over here to Aries again for courage. Chiron in Aries saying, have courage to heal the things that you don't understand. I've talked about this before. I talk about it, I believe, on this astrology channel. I talk about it in my ayahuasca ceremonies quite often, as I tell individuals before the ceremony to lean into the shadow. If something presents itself in life that seems dark, that seems like the shadow, this is all part of you. This is a part of your experience, and to lean into it. And there's this story that I constantly reminded of. This story, I've shared it, I know, but there's this lion that terrorized the village, and he was angry and just stay away from that lion, right? And this little girl with her childlike innocence, this Gemini new moon innocence and curiosity, walks right up to the lion and says, "Mr. Lion, why are you so angry?" And he roars, tries to scare her and intimidate her to run away so that, the lion's not bothered. But she was persistent. Why are you so upset, Mr. Lion? And he picks up his paw, and he's got a thorn in that paw. And he pulls the thorn out. She pulls the thorn out. And all of a sudden, there's the alleviation. That scary thing that was terrorizing the village, the scary thing that's terrorizing your mind, the scary thing that's plaguing your experience, your body, could just simply be a thorn in the foot, a thorn in your paw. Wise advice: take rocks out of your shoes. It's sometimes so much more simple than what we think it is. So sometimes it's just a thought. The thorn is simply a thought in our mind of, this is how women want me as a man to be. Well, what does it matter? This is how I am. And if a woman wants to meet me who I am, and if she's curious enough, then she'll meet me. And if that's how a woman is, and I'm curious enough about her, I'll be interested and I'll meet her. If this is a thing that I want to do in life and I'm curious about it, I'll go in that direction. If it seems safe, I'll go in that direction. If it seems sketchy, what makes it seem sketchy? What makes it seem unsafe? What makes it seem unsure to me? It's up to me to discern that, use my own discernment, and decipher what it is that seems frightening, scary, unwanted. I don't love talking about politics on this channel, but this is like another one of those things. It's like both parties, because I'm not involved in either party of politics. I find both beautiful and both awful for their own reasons. And I think like the Make America Great Again is such a weird thing when people are angry about it. It's like, this is the country that we live in. This, if you're watching from the United States anyway, we live in America, and we should want to make this country the greatest that we can. Even if you don't like the person that's stating the message, we should still want to make this country the best it possibly can be. So when we internalize a thought, when we internalize an idea, and now we see, somebody wearing a MAGA hat, and then think that's an enemy instead of an ally, because of our own interpretation, because of our own brains. And I mean, part of it, sure, I understand there's like cause and effect, and there's different views of society and whatnot, but it's just like, that's fine. there are people that eat different foods. There are vegetarians, there are vegans, there are fruitarians, there are meat eaters, carnivore diets. There are people that wear belts. There are people that sag their pants. It's like it doesn't matter. These are just different ways of people going about life, and every single color of the rainbow exists as a unity, and we are the unity. And we are all existing as the unity, and we should all want to make this space that we live in together better for all of us. And it gets really interesting when we just give our power away so much and fill our heart with hatred and anger. And most of the time, it's from our lack of understanding or a lack of communication. And that's where this Gemini new moon is really like highlighting, like, you have the ability to seek and understand. There's another thing that I talk about all the time. The child that wants the cookie before dinner can't comprehend why the parents are saying no. And the child can say, you don't love me. You don't care about my wants and my needs. And the parents, in the back of their minds, they're like, sweet child, you don't understand. I don't want you to fill up on sugary sweets. I want you to fill up on nutrients, something that's good for you. It's about this child can't have that conversation yet. Or, hey, the child wants to, now they're in elementary school, junior high, and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And they want the new Beanie Baby, the new fad, the new Tamagotchi, the new, what are those, Labubus, the newest of the new Jordans, the new things. And it's just like, parents, you have pocketbook. You've got to balance that thing out. You've got to balance your electricity, your water bill, the heat or gas, whatever. The gas prices, it's like everything is inflated and pricey right now. So if you say no to the kid and the kid's like, oh, you're stunting my growth as an individual, you're stunning my ability to fit in and my popularity and my social status, the kid's not going to understand that we have to make budget cuts over here for this. So it's about education. Education, understanding is what brings us to peace. Understanding is what brings us to that healing that's over there in Chiron. It's the only connections that this new moon is making across the way to Black Moon Lilith, which I don't even know how do you want to communicate this. It's like, again, you have to be willing to put yourself in the uncomfortable place and learn from something or someone that you don't want to learn from. It's like, in order to learn about anything that you don't know, you have to be able to ask somebody. So it's just like, if you want to know about a Satanist and their beliefs and their views, you're going to have to go ask a Satanist. And if your belief structure, let's say you're a Christian, is a Satanist is bad and evil, and I don't want to learn from them, so therefore I'm never going to learn this thing. And it's just like, okay, well, then it's just like, oh, hey, they're a political organization that's doing this to, if Hobby Lobby over here is saying, no, I don't want to give my employees birth control because we as a Christian society don't believe in birth control. Well, this political organization on this side says, well, we're going to even that out and we're going to have to balance this over here. So things aren't always as they seem. And we have to, Black Moon Lilith is this treacherous, barbarian aspects of humanity, where the worst of the worst of us will come out. This is not feminine or masculine. This is both sides, the side of the feminine and the side of the masculine. Just like Mars, Mars, they say it could be masculine, but it doesn't matter. Mars is about action. It's about putting one foot in front of another and taking action. And Black Moon Lilith here is about our, these dark sides of our emotions and how we're dealing with them, right? This is the mythology, the lady that would kill babies, right? But it's just like, well, okay, so should we understand why? Do we need to understand why she's doing what she's doing or what they're doing? It's like, either way, at the end of this is about information. Our healing comes from better understanding. Our understanding comes from having conversations. Those conversations come from having them with an opposing view. It's literally right here in the astrology. The opposing view is over in Sagittarius, saying that they have more information about this topic than I have about this topic. And I'm curious about that topic, and the only way for me to learn about it is by stepping into the den of the unknown. Find out what's wrong with the lion. Is it going to eat me, or is it just going to point that it's got a thorn in its paw and I have to help it out? Right? Help it out. Lean into that. Lean into it. Sometimes we just run away and get scared. We run away. Oh my God, MAGA, or we run away, or people run away from the left liberals, and both sides call each other crazy. And I sit here in the middle watching both sides yelling at each other and thinking, man, we all just need to talk. We just need to have a conversation. We need to understand each other from each other's point of view best we can. And not see an enemy. Maybe we find an ally that just views something different than us. Or this person's dealing with their pension while this person's dealing with student loan debt. And they're both dealing with debt, and each party is telling them that they're going to do it right. It's like everybody is just trying to figure this life out. And the more that we stand in our power, and this is how we're going to end this, the more that we come back to our power, we're always going to learn. We should always be students of the world. We should never be so stuck that we are the guru, we're the person on top, we know all of the answers. Like there's a lot of topics that I know a lot about, and there's topics I don't know much about at all. And I love getting into conversations about astrology. I can certainly hold my own, but there's a lot that I learn from other people too, and just engaging in that conversation rounds us out. And so sometimes it's just engaging in that conversation, or it's just like, right, I practice Western astrology. And then so for me to get deeper into Vedic, which I understand, but only to a degree, I have to ask a Vedic astrologer. I don't love religion, but I'm curious about religion. I'm extremely curious about religion because I love the origins of life. I want to know where these stories come from. And so even though I can ask somebody a question, and for the most part, they're going to give me a story that's a mythological fairy tale of absolute BS, I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious, and without trying to belittle them, of their stance, of their point of view. There's a lot saying just be curious, my friends. Be curious about life. Your curiosity comes to your healing. And being open, this breakthrough Uranus energy right now of like, crack the nut. Let's see what's inside. Open the sucker up and let's see what it is. Is it salty? Is it sweet? What's it taste like? Can it be turned into milk? What foods is it going to pair well with? Right? So this is how it is. This is the information. Being able to talk to the opposition to learn something new, bringing that into myself to say, hey, I can heal myself or through an understanding. Somebody's not going to necessarily, it's like you clicked on the video, right? The video didn't just start playing on your phone, and it's like, here, friend, here's all the information for you. Here's what you need to do in life. It's like, no. A lot of people are going to tell you what they think you need to do in your life, but that's because they want your money, and they think that your money looks better in their bank account. And it's the truth. So it's like trying to decipher as well, like who's trying to help you out or who's trying to hurt you or who's trying to help you for the benefit of themselves, who's trying to help you for the benefit of you, and who wants you to grow and wants you to expand. Our emotional moon here is what drives us. If we're curious about something, our emotions say, yes, this is safe, or no, this is not safe. Jupiter over here expanding our emotions. So again, is it safe to walk up to the lion to remove that thorn in its paw? According to the storybook, yes. But we have to figure that out in our own lives. We have to figure out what is worth our time, attention, and to figure out. And do we want to just allow the world to inform us? That's the other big one. It's like, if the world is just going to inform us of what the world is, then we're always a victim. Then we're always just going to be a bystander to the world at large, and we're never interacting and playing, playing ball as a collaborative with the world. We're just saying, oh, that's how the world is, and there's nothing I can do about it. Or, hey, I learned this thing, and now I've got to teach to other people. And, it's like there's that awkward side of this Chiron and Aries of the wounded healer trying to go heal other people, but it's still wounded. So you have a ton of wounded people trying to tell you what the world is. They're still wounded, and they're only telling you their perception of the world through the eyes of their wounds. The world is hard and cold and dangerous. When I deleted social media, I didn't get any of that. I saw people in love and people holding doors and different races intermingling and joy. You turn on social media, Mark Zuckerberg's world, and it's just fueled with politics and hatred. And it's Chiron and Aries up to us as individuals to get rid of that stuff. Social media is a double-edged sword, and we all can use it for certain things, and there's certain things we use it too much or lean on it too much for. But, it's up to us to determine what the world is and what we think of it and what we want to make of it, and how we want to interact with that, and how we want to interact with these two different parties and these opposing forces and opposing views, not just politically, but all of it. And like Gemini here is just like, Virgo's the one that's like right, wrong, no, yes. Gemini is just like, I'll take all of it. I want all of it. I want all the information. I want why you think Trump is good. I want why you think Trump is bad. I want why you think somebody would have been a better choice. I want why you think that person wouldn't have been a good choice. It's just collecting information. The more information that we can take in, the more tools we have at our disposal, at our belt, to figure out the project or to figure this thing out. So my friends, this is about staying curious. I don't even want to talk about much of the other aspects of the chart. I feel like there's already so much I'm chatting about here just with this new moon, and staying curious with life, staying curious, staying optimistic, following your own joy, expanding your joy in your heart, and having this fire, this Leo fire where Venus is right now. It's like following our desires and these things that get us really passionate, excited about life, and want to say yes to it. So follow your curiosities, friends, and enjoy life, and try not to take too much of what other people are saying, like what this world is, because this is a playground, and you make it up for yourself. Maybe it's not a playground, maybe whatever it is, it's whatever you want it to be. That's the beauty of this new moon. Whatever you want it to be, it already is. I love you. I wish you enough, and we'll see you next time.